Welcome to the training program Cleaning and Sanitizing. Safe use of products, chemicals, MS and GHS.
Why take this training? For what? Your employer cares about the health, safety and well-being of its employees. To make you aware that the task of the washer is one of the most important tasks of the company. To improve your knowledge of chemicals in order to reduce injuries and risks related to their use. The chemicals used help us maintain the safety of equipment and the quality of production. Be aware that chemicals can be very dangerous for the user and people around. Chemicals are essential tools for successful sanitation in your industry. Sanitation Program Basic Principles. Cleaning and sanitation. The most important operation in your industry. Two words often misunderstood: cleaning and sanitation. Cleaning. What does cleaning mean? Cleaning is the step that allows the elimination of visible dirt in order to avoid the accumulation of dirt that favors the development of microorganisms. Sanitation. What does sanitation mean? Destroy residual microorganisms. Even after careful cleaning, microorganisms invisible to the naked eye remain on the surfaces. Sanitizing surfaces helps keep the environment healthy. It also increases the shelf life and quality of finished products. Cleaning is crucial step. Remove visible deposits, organic or inorganic matter. Remove invisible deposits, biofilm. Basic principles. Cleaning, crucial step. Objective: eliminate everything. Eliminate what? Visible deposits. Organic matter, fat, blood, protein. Inorganic materials, limescale or mineral deposits. Invisible deposits. Bacteria, mold, biofilm. Parameters and actions at actions. Mechanical actions. Flexible squeegees. Rigid brushes. Buffers. Broom. High pressure water. Thermals. Hot water. Hot product solution. Chemicals. Alkaline detergents. Acid detergents. Neutral detergents. Cleaning and sanitizing sequence. Manual pickup. Pre-rinse. Rinsing. Soap alkaline pH 7 to 14. Top-down soap application. Scrub and let the soap act for 10 to 15 minutes. Rinsing. Possibility of acid treatment after this step if requested. Rinsing must follow after the acid. Inspection and sanitation at Assainissement. A rinse of the sanitizer may be required for certain production. Sanitation. Once the equipment and production areas are properly cleaned, we will use a sanitizer to destroy microorganisms. Conditions for effective use of disinfectants or sanitizers. Absence of deposits on the surfaces, a well-done cleaning. Recommended concentration, 200 ppm without rinsing. Operating temperature. Exposure time. Types of microorganisms to counter. Individual protections. Here's what you'll need to protect yourself on the job. Security helmet. Security glasses. Rain suit or apron. Vinyl or nitrile glove. Protective boot with steel cap. Basic rules. Ruler. Never put or wash anything on the floor. Do not mix clean parts with dirty ones. Do not return parts to dirty containers. Handle coins gently, some cost very $. Put the heavier parts in the bottom of the bins. Do not splash finished products or clean equipment. It is forbidden to climb on equipment or on wooden pallets. Rule continued. Squeegees and absorbent mops exclusively reserved for ceilings are equipped with a telescopic handle, identified for this purpose. Be careful of your hands when handling the parts. Be careful not to spray your colleagues with work who works near you. Do not forget to clean your protective equipment, waterproof, and store it properly, hang to dry well. Consequence of poor cleaning for the customer. Delay in starting production. If the production line has to be rewashed, the customer's employees are paid to wait until the line is compliant and can produce. Loss of efficiency for the customer, drop in production. Waste of time for the customer, must have part or all of it rewashed, time is money. May remain residual pathogenic bacteria that can to make sick the customers of our customer. Can even lead to death, problem of Listeria, X. The recall of Maple Leaf in 2008 which caused the death of 22 people. Cause a recall of the customer's product. Financial loss. Customers can charge us for delays. Notions of chemistry. Choice of chemical product. Chemistry. To do an effective cleaning you will need some products. Because cleaning with water is not the most effective. In the next section you will see basic chemistry to understand your job and what cleaning products can do for you. The pH scale. On the pH scale acid is 0 to 6.9. pH 7 is neutral. Alkaline is 7.1 to 14 on the pH scale. With an acid product, we eliminate accumulation of limestone, calcium, rust, oxidation by water, air, juice, tea or coffee. With an alkaline product we clean greasy surfaces, removes remaining proteins, chicken, beef or pork. Helps remove carbon. Mixtures. No mixing should be done without the authorization of your superiors. Mixtures must be made with great care. Always mix the product in water. Mixing of products, possible consequences. Negative consequences. Chemical reaction producing toxic gases, bleach or chlorine, plus acid. Sudden release of heat. Complete inactivation of products. Solidification of the mixture. Separation of product ingredients. Breakage of equipment. Positive consequences. Increases in detergent power. Give additional characteristics to a product. Example of blends. Adding chlorine to an alkaline product. Advantages. Increases the power of the product to degrade proteins. Gives bleaching power. Disadvantages. The product becomes corrosive on steel. Manufactured solutions degrade rapidly. Note: mixed with an alkaline product, chlorine no longer has disinfectant qualities. Recommended concentrations. Factors considered. Safety for staff. Safety for surfaces. Optimal concentration for best results. An increase in concentration will have little effect and could even harm the results. If a product is poorly rinsed, at the right concentration will not be harmful to humans, so the food in direct contact will not be harmful. Note: if you have difficulty cleaning some surfaces, talk to your supervisor. The use of pure product is generally not a solution. Degreaser versus sanitizer. Degreaser helps remove fat, residues, soap, detergent. Sanitizer destroy residual microorganisms, which means those that remain on the surfaces at the end of cleaning. Even if it has been done carefully, the sanitizer does not wash. The means: mechanical, arm oil, high pressure water, flexible squeegees, rigid brushes, green pads, broom, thermals, hot water, hot soap solutions, chemicals, alkaline detergents, acid detergents, neutral detergents. The methods. Foaming, detergent. Soaking, as needed. Traffic, CIP. High pressure. Scouring, especially direct contact where food touches. Depend on. Size of parts. Accessibility of surfaces. Position of surfaces. Type of surfaces. Steps. Mechanical removal of all debris. Rinse surfaces thoroughly with hot water, 65 degrees Celsius. Application of chemicals. Thorough rinsing of chemicals. Application of disinfectants. Visual inspection with flashlight. Complete steps of a washing procedure. 1. Remove perishable materials and products. 2. Isolate the area to be washed. 3. Switch off the current on the equipment, security, padlocking. 4. Remove the larger manually without water, easy to remove. 5. Accurately prepare chemical solutions. 6. Dismantle the devices according to the procedures in place. 7. Dip the parts. 8. Cover motors, electrical outlets and any other equipment that cannot be hosed down. 9. Begin the sequence seen previously. For the disassembled device in the sector, walls, floor, sink, etc. 1. Pre-rinse, water all areas several times quickly. 2. Degrease. 3. Rinse. 4. Drain as much water as possible. 5. Visual and tactile verification. 6. Sanitize. 7. Hand washing or glove change. 8. Reassemble devices. 9. Final verification. 10. Inspection by manager. Factors influencing product efficacy. Mechanical action, scrubbing. Water temperature. Contact time, soap. Quality of contact, quantity of soap. Focus. Short course of microbiology. Microorganisms. 1. Bacteria. 2. Viruses. 3. Yeasts. 4. Mold. 5. Pests. Bacteria. Their importance. Useful, lactobacillus used in milk. Have you got work to make me do? Harmful, contaminates food. Example, mold yeast on bread, give me some the food, I'm going take care. Pathogenic, E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria, etc. I'm mainly here for you, humans. The needs of microorganisms. Humidity. Oxygen. Temperature. Proteins. Acidity. Time. Microbiology. Some bacteria, yeasts and molds are helpful, otherwise we wouldn't have cheese, yogurt, beer, bread, etc. Some are harmful, for example moldy bread, viscous lettuce. Others are pathogenic, cause toxic infections, such as gastroenteritis, and can even lead to death. For bacteria to grow, they need humidity, water, oxygen, air, food residues, acidity, pH between 3 and 10, ambient temperature, Time, doubles every 15 minutes. Multiplication of bacteria. Bacteria double in about 15 minutes at room temperature under favorable conditions. So a single bacterium gives 16 bacteria after 1 hour and 1,048,576 bacteria after 5 hours. Source of contamination. Product. Person. Workplace. They can be the cause of the propagation germs. Salmonella. Toilet bacteria. Pathogen. Found in stools, meats, milks, eggs, raw. Healthy or diseased carriers. Improper hand washing. Possible presence of rodents. Vermin, flies, cockroaches. Bird feces. Raw and cooked cross-contamination. -12 to 48 hours after infection. Disease usually lasts 4 to 7 days and most people recover. E. coli. Hamburger disease. Mammalian intestinal bacteria, very common in humans. 80% of our aerobic intestinal flora can be pathogenic, O157:H7. Improper washing of equipment. Choppers. Equipment requiring a disassembly. Corners of equipment. Dead spots. Importance of good cooking. Listeria. The delayed bacterium. Listeria monocytogenes is the only species in the genus Listeria pathogenic for humans. Found primarily in soil and water. They are healthy carriers. Can be found in drains, in ventilation systems, in floor joints. Can remain dormant for a very long time. May cause instant abortion in pregnant women. The virus. The profiteer. The virus needs a host, human or animal cells. They are often carried by feces, stools, or other bodily fluids. Viruses do not reproduce in food. The spread of viruses via food has 3 major sources. Handling food without respecting sufficient hygiene, or the material coming into direct contact. Food contact with animal waste, human effluent or sewage. Consumption of animals themselves contaminated with viruses, example, meat, fish, etc. They are healthy carriers, have the virus, but are not sick. Yeasts and molds. Found mainly in soil and water. Can travel by air, water, people, etc. Leads to premature aging of food, before the end of the expiry date. There are good ones, for making bread, beer, cheese, wine, etc. Allergens. Allergens. Foods causing allergic reactions are called allergens. Here it is. Peanuts. Nut. Pisces. Seafood. Wheat and gluten. Milk, dairy products. Eggs. Soy. Sesame. Coconut. Mustard. Sulfites. Legumes. Miscellaneous fruit. etc. Food allergy is an abnormal and excessive reaction of the body generated by contact with food. It can manifest as skin, respiratory, digestive, or general problems. They can be extremely severe and risk causing shock to the body so intense that it can lead to hospitalization or death. It is therefore important to respect the color codes, if existing, for work tools for example. Properly clean risk areas. When you handle or consume an allergen, while working or on your break, you must be more vigilant with regard to the cleanliness of your uniform and your hands to avoid contaminating the next equipment handled. Respect customer identification. Biofilm. Biofilm, invisible deposit. Biofilm is not an abstract idea. Biofilm is a means of defense that bacteria have developed against attacks from their environment. A very effective means consisting mainly of polysaccharides. A soap cannot destroy a biofilm on its own. It takes a little manual work and a powerful oxidizer. A biofilm can be compared to a large city with several species of microorganisms. The biofilm reproduces once its population is too important. Biofilm formation. This is how it forms a biofilm. Biofilm, before and after washing and sanitation. Before and after. Miss, it's the term in Anglais. Simdut, it's the term in French. Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. The Global Harmonization System of Classification and Labeling, GHS. Purpose of MIS. Standardize the information system for those who work with hazardous products. There were no laws or controls for hazardous product labels before 1988. MIS is part of the Hazardous Products Act, Federal Bill C-70. Control in Quebec by the C.S.S.T., Commission de la Santé et de la Sécurité au Travail. MIS is governed by federal and provincial laws and regulations. Obligations. Supplier, manufacturer, provide material safety data sheets and the labels. Employer, provide information, training, labels, sheets. Employee attend training, read labels and leaflets. MIS purpose. In Canada, more than 3 million workers are regularly exposed to hazardous materials. Social costs resulting from this exposure, more than $600 million. Health problems are serious: burns, lung or kidney lesions, heart pathologies, congenital malformations, sterility, mutagenic effects, cancers. The list is certainly incomplete at this time. There were no laws or controls for hazardous product labels before 1988. Standardize the information system for those who work with the products dangerous. MIS 1988 to 2015, Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. MIS is a Canadian system designed to protect Canadian workers and employers by providing them with essential information on the hazardous materials used in the work. Obligations. MIS applies to all industrial sectors and all workplaces in the country. MIS is first and foremost a communication system composed of 3 closely related and equally important elements. Worker training programs. Material safety data sheets. The stickers. MIS 2015 transition to GHS. MIS 2015 essentially the same objectives and regulations than W.H.M.I.S. 1988. GHS, MIS 2015, the Global Harmonization System of Classification and Labeling, GHS. GHS Global System, developed by the United Nations. GHS defines and classifies hazards and communicates health and safety information. GHS is intended to adopt uniform criteria for hazard classification and to standardize the content and format of labels and safety data sheets used worldwide. GHS will be applied by federal and provincial law via MIS 2015, the latter will take precedence over GHS. GHS end of transition period for Canada June 1, 2017, U.S. June 1, 2016, Europe June 1, 2015. MIS, the label. The S.I.M.D.U.T. appearing on the label has all the safety information in an easy-to-identify place. Informs the user of the dangers posed by the product, warnings and first aid in the event of an accident. The supplier is obliged to include his name and address in the box with. A reference to the file signage is also required. The stripe box is no longer mandatory since MS 2015, but it can still be used. The label. Always read the label carefully to obtain the name of the product, the user manual, hazard classification, pictograms, first aid procedures. If you are unsure or do not understand how to use the product, ask issues. MS Material Safety Data Sheet, MSDS, contains the same information as the label, but also gives several other detailed information. The chemical composition and properties of the product are described. The law requires a certain minimum of information. It is the responsibility of the employer to ensure that MSDSs are obtained for all controlled products used on the premises. Every user has the right to see the MSDS before using a product. Material safety data sheets must be accessible at all times to users of products. The following page presents a model MSDS including the minimum categories of information required by the MS. These categories being: product identification and use, hazardous ingredients, physical properties, fire and explosion hazards, reactivity, toxicological properties/health hazard, preventive measures, first aid, identification of the person responsible and date of preparation of the MSDS. Here are two MSDS from two different soap companies. Safety Data Sheets, MSDS. Always consult the MSDS before first use. SDS must be accessible 24 hours a day. The SDS is the first source of information on safety measures related to the product. It is not a source of information on properties and usage specifications. MS exemptions. MS generally applies to industrial products. The following products are not covered by MS: household consumer products, medicines, disinfectants and pesticides, food, explosives, tobacco products. All of the above product types are controlled by other laws which take precedence over regulation. MS 2015, GHS symbols. Exploding bomb, for gases under pressure. Flame, for fire hazards. Flame over circle, for oxidizing hazards. Gas cylinder, for gases under pressure. Corrosion, for corrosive damage to metals, as well as skin, eyes. Skull and crossbones, can cause death or toxicity with short exposure to small amounts. Health hazard, may cause or suspected of causing serious health effects. Exclamation mark, may cause less serious health effects or damage the ozone layer. Environment, may cause damage to the aquatic environment. Biohazardous infectious materials, for organisms or toxins that can cause diseases in people or animals. MS 2015, GHS, categories. Two types of hazards. Physical hazards, flammable gases, gas under pressure, oxidizing liquids, corrosive materials. Health hazards, skin/corrosion, carcinogenicity, biohazardous materials. Product absorption pathways. Contact with skin or eyes. Liquids. Exposed skin. Cut. Injury. Swallowing. Drink. Eat. Nails. Hands. Inhalation, breathing. Gas. Vapor, e.g., solvent. Dust. Smoke. Injection. Needles. Drilling. Cut. Safety and some tips. Some tips. Never transport liquid products in the factory in open boilers. Put a lid on the boiler or a stopper on the container. Never fill a container with a product if you are not absolutely sure that it contains no residue of another product. Make sure your boots are fully waterproof at all times. Never mix products unless the mixing has been authorized by your supervisor beforehand. Always be sure to wear with all usual equipment, chemical safety goggles and gloves when applying foam or gels, soap, to surfaces. All mixing must be done by trained personnel. Safety, some sound advice. If the product is not well identified, do not use it. Notify your supervisor. Call your chemical representative. Always keep safety in mind. Store chemicals well identified in containers tightly closed. Avoid splashing. Always use the correct dispensing equipment. Emergency procedures. Know where to find the emergency number on the label and the SDS. Emergency numbers should be posted in the workplace. Shimtrek 1-800-424-9300, Kanyatech 613-996-6666. Establish emergency procedures. For chemical injuries, know where the eye wash and showers are located. Chemical leaks and spills. Fire. Evacuation, know the meeting places. First aid. Eye injuries, flush from the corner of the eye near the nose outward. Rinse for 15 minutes with the coldest water possible. Contact with skin, rinse for 15 minutes with the coldest water possible. Inhalation, remove to fresh air. Ingestion, do not induce vomiting. Consult the doctor and bring the MSDS. Burn severity assessment chart in degrees. Here is the severity of burns with degrees of burn. If we do not rinse the chemical product that comes into contact with our skin properly with cold water for at least 15 minutes, we can have serious burns. Burn severity assessment chart in degrees. Here are photos of burns from people who neglected to rinse the chemical well. Deep alkali wound after water irrigation 60 minutes. Alkaline burn, corneal damage and vascularization. Partial clouding cornea sweep to a chemical injury. Alkaline injury, pacification of the cornea. Alkaline eye injury, cloudy cornea after healing. Safety first. Wear your safety gear. Avoid shortcuts. If you have any questions, ask your manager. What to do in case of an accident. Keep calm. Immediately notify your supervisor who, if necessary, will contact 911. Follow the instructions on the W.H.M.I.S. of the product that caused the accident. X. Eye wash. Complete the accident form. Reminder. Do not forget that only trained people can make dilutions. Wear the protective clothing necessary for the product at all times, goggles, mask, gloves, etc. when washing with water. Pay attention to your coworkers who may be nearby. If you are unsure of which product to use, check with your supervisor. Never put your hands in the equipment in operation. It is better to take the time to move this ladder or risk falling. Finishing. Your work is very important. The customer and their customers rely on you to ensure the safety of their food. Without a clean factory, the customer cannot work. Refer to your manager for any problems. The customer must be notified of all problems. X. Vermin preview, cleaning problem, a damaged part during disassembly. Thank you for watching this training. If you have any questions, ask your manager.